Evidently, Apple has been losing money on Apple TV Plus,
Their streaming
their streaming
company
service.
app service, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, despite their efforts, they're still losing
Quite a lot of money.
quite a lot of money. Let me pull it up. Feel free to fill the silence with your wit.
Can't. Waiting for context.
Okay. So, according to Earn Your Leisure, Apple is reportedly losing over $1 billion a year on its streaming service, Apple TV Plus, even after slightly reducing its content budget by $500 million last year from a break of over $5 billion. Since launching in 2019, Apple TV Plus has struggled to gain market share, accounting for just 0.2% of US TV viewership, less in a month than Netflix sees in a single day. While Apple doesn't share official subscriber numbers, estimates suggest Apple TV Plus has around 45 million subscribers compared to Netflix's 301 million. Despite these losses, Apple's overall business remains strong with $93.7 billion in net profit from $391 billion in revenue for the fiscal year ending September 2024. Thank you, Earn Your Leisure.
One thing Earn Your Leisure going to do is tell you about the finances.
Oh yeah, they'll give you the facts and figures for sure.
Yep.
You think they're gonna eventually? You think it's gonna go away eventually?
I don't know. I think it's too soon to tell. I hear lots of buzz about the shows on Apple TV. There is it Severance?
Severance is what everybody's going crazy over right now.
Right. So
even
Severance
though
is
it's
like
not
the
new.
show right now, and this is the second season. It had just as much buzz the first season, and so I think it's a difficult game. You know, we spoke about a while ago up here that I think it was only Disney and Max that saw profits last year from streaming.
Yeah.
Streaming is a hard game to be in. I know it seems like everyone is in streaming, but not everyone is profiting from being in streaming. And so that's the challenge. Like, you gotta constantly either be outsourcing your content, which means you gotta pay out, right? So it's like, well, we want weeknights to be on Apple TV. All right, well, you got to pay weeknights in order for them to allow you to host the content up there. Or you got to spend buku bucks to go create original content. That means writers, that means actors, that means editors, that means mad staff.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and when it comes to streaming, that stuff all has to live somewhere. And you got to have servers and all of this stuff in place so that when people are streaming it, they have a good experience. Now, yes, it's true that lots of people on podcasts, in real life, in newspapers, all forms of media, I am seeing with my own 4 eyes, that, yeah, Apple has some of the best shows out right now. Apple is making better TV shows than all the other streaming. That's cool, but if it's not translating to profits, that can be challenging. Now, if Apple started their streaming in 2019, they're 6 years out, you know, I don't know what their profit margins were before. Have they ever made a profit? All of that would matter in your question of will it go away or not? Sometimes in business, you have something what's called a loss leader, where you like, this the thing that we do that loses money. And sometimes you win something else, right? Like you may be losing financially, but you're gaining users' information, which you're able to, I mean, let's keep it real. You got users' information, you can sell that data to advertisers, etc. So I don't really know the logistics of everything going on at Apple, so it's hard to answer, will it go away?
Yeah.
But I think that's a big loss. And I think, you know, these things don't get discussed enough, except for Netflix. We don't hear anybody else talking about losses except Netflix. We constantly hear Netflix lost this many users, Netflix lost this in the fiscal year, la, 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 la. But there's lots of other companies now in streaming, and we're not hearing about their numbers. So to me, it's not surprising because we reported here already that only Max and Disney Plus made profits, I think, last year. So no, not surprising to me that they're losing money, but will they go away? I don't know. I don't know what's Apple's plan. As the facts and figures say, they got plenty of money at Apple. So maybe they got a 10-year plan, or maybe they're pivoting after, this loss has become public. I don't know. I think it remains to be seen, but I'm not surprised that they're losing money because it looks like these companies are losing money with streaming.
Do you think that there's something to the fact that Disney Plus and Max both are coming out of companies that were already established in the television space?
Yeah. I think the fact that Disney and Max have these long back catalogs, these crazy back catalogs, is helpful. I don't think people are always going to Max and Disney Plus for the new thing. I think a lot of times, this is my opinion, I'm not saying it's a fact, but I think people go up there and it's like, oh, let me watch that TV show from when I was 7. Oh, let me watch this movie that I used to love watching. Or all the Harry Potter people, like, they up there watching Harry Potter, them shit's not new. Mm-hmm. So that's back catalog. Like, yeah, cool, Disney got Daredevil right now or whatever other show, but I mean, technically Paradise counts, but it's a Hulu show, whatever, I don't know where they're counting that. But my point is these streaming apps seem to have one or two that they keep fresh.
Yeah.
I don't think that's paying the bills. I think what's paying the bills, again, my opinion, not a fact, I think what's paying the bills is that back catalog that these companies have.
I can see that.
Because they don't necessarily have to go to other companies and say, hey, can we pay you X? How much we got to pay you to put X-Men over here? Mm-hmm. You go to Disney Plus and watch all the X-Men right now.
The two top reasons I go to Disney Plus, and this is assuming that there's no current show that I'm trying to watch, but the two top reasons I go are Father of the Bride and Sister Act.
Back catalog.
I just, I always go back there. There's also a show that was, this is Hulu, but same company. There's a show that I used to watch, a drama that used to come on ABC. You could call it one of my comfort shows. Just watching it yesterday, actually. Sometimes I just go to Hulu just because I want to watch that, or just because I want to watch The Golden Girls, or just because I want to watch Living Single.
That's what I'm saying.
I was also watching Living Single yesterday. Sometimes I just want to see things that I already know. But to that point, same thing with Max. Before they moved A Different World to Netflix, that's where I would watch it.
That's where I watched the whole show.
Right. Gossip Girl was one of them that I would go back to on Max.
There's a bunch of old stuff that people are going to. And you got to also think about output, right? Like, how many new shows are hits? How many new movies are hits that are original content pieces on every streaming platform? Like, this started with an Apple conversation. Like, they did that Will Smith slavery movie. It wasn't a hit.
No, and that was right after the slap, so.
But that's what I'm saying. So I'm using Apple as an example, but each of the streaming platforms are putting out original movies and TV shows. How many of those are hits? How many of those are really taking off? That matters. And the age-old question, how much is the stream worth?
Well, we don't know that. But I will say, of all the streaming apps, I actually feel like Apple has some of the best original content.
That's what the streets are saying.
I do. I don't know why people don't gravitate towards it. Maybe because it is an additional thing. Maybe that's part of it. I don't really know. And it's almost like if you got to pick your favorite. And
that's the other thing.
So maybe people who are more family oriented might want the Disney Plus app because that might make more sense for them. Maybe people who are into more drama or reality television go to Max because Max has, we didn't even talk about the fact that Max is not just whatever content was HBO, but now it's all of that Discovery content also.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's why I said back catalog.
Yeah, so well, it's not all back catalog. I mean, you get new episodes of 90 Day Fiancé and that whole franchise on there. Okay, you get, because that's all falling under, all of the TLC reality shows are on there.
You're right.
Only thing I can't get on there is Married at First Sight, but It doesn't. I'm trying to find it, but it doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. So yeah, I do think that the other streamers have that to their advantage. However, I think that Apple has done a really incredible job at creating original content that's interesting. I feel like they create content for multiple people with different characteristics so that it's a place that you can go and everybody can find something. I mean, they've got Ted Lasso, so you've got comedy. They've got, oh my gosh, what was the show that they did? Presumed Innocent. I heard that was really good.
Yeah, that was popular. The Morning Show or whatever.
The Morning Show. I used to watch The Morning Show. That was great. They've got all these different shows that I'm actually really surprised. You mentioned Severance already, and I know everybody's talking about Severance already. I'm really surprised that they haven't been able to kind of inch their way up in a more impactful way when it comes to their bottom line. But I do think that it helps that the other apps have kind of this other entity that they can pull from.
Yeah. Like even when I'm with my daughter, we're watching old shows more than new shows on those apps.
Yeah.
Movies, we're watching older stuff.
Yeah.
More than new stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, like your favorite Marvel movie might come out in a Marvel movie might come out in theaters. You'd be like, yo, I love this movie. Can't wait till it hits Disney, and then you watching it on Disney. But I don't think that's what's bringing in new users.
I mean, even my niece is very, no matter the streamer, she's very much into like old movies. It's hard for me to call them old movies because they're movies that like
they're old. We just don't look at them as old.
What? But
stuff she's 20, 30 years
she's
ago.
watching like the old rom-coms and teen dramas now that I'm just like, oh, okay, but that's what her and her friends are into. They're not necessarily looking for new stuff either.
Nah, they want to see what High School Musical was about.
Right. Which I find so interesting. And I'm like, is there just a gap in that type of content and that's why they have to reach back? Or, I mean, it's not bad that they're doing that, but I'm just wondering because sometimes you hear kids say the opposite and they're like, I don't want to watch that old stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, I know we got to get going, but
we do.
I mean, good luck to Apple. Good luck to the fruit company. Maybe they should start selling fruit.